I'm Anika Clark, Executive Editor, Local News at the Keene Sentinel.
And I'm Cecily Weisburgh, Executive Editor, Digital. Welcome to Sentinel Sources, our first ever talk show. This show is a collaboration between the Sentinel and the Keene State College video production class.
Sentinel journalists will interview the guests on this show, while our Keene State student colleagues make up the entire production staff. We at the Sentinel are excited to join our work with the students and their professors, to deepen our reporting on important local news topics in an interesting and informative format.
On today's show, you'll meet our director from here at Keene State, Junior Jill Diamond, who makes this television magic happen. This is Sentinel Sources.
So thank you for joining us, Jill.
Thanks for having me.
Just to start out, could you tell us a little bit about the work you're doing on Sentinel Sources?
Yeah, so when you guys send us in the scripts, we go through and we edit them. And then aside from that, typically I'd be behind the scenes directing the show, which is telling whoever's on the technical board when to switch cameras, what graphics to take up, and just really making sure the show flows well.
So can you tell us how many years you've been doing video production?
Yeah, so I started spring semester of my freshman year behind the camera and anchoring, and then that was how I got introduced to the behind the scenes work. And I started that, I want to say, the first semester of my sophomore year, so about a year and a half ago.
Oh, wow. And how has this class helped you kind of develop your skills as a producer and a director?
So I started out probably just like running the teleprompter and doing like the easy steps, and then I slowly moved my way up to the audio board, and then I watched our director at the time, Tim Wagner, use the technical directing board, and I was like, that looks awesome. Like, it was all the buttons, and I was like, that looks really cool. I was like, I want to learn how to do that. So he taught me how to do that, and I got comfortable with that for probably 2 semesters. And then at that point, he was graduating, and we had a few other seniors that were like doing graduating. And that was when Professor Wakefield was like, I want you to learn how to direct. And I was like, okay, like I've heard it enough times, I can probably translate it over. And then, yeah, that's when I started directing, and I picked it right up and I loved it, and it was a lot of fun. So,
What do you find so compelling about directing?
it's a lot of fun for me, going through the steps and now understanding how everything works and getting other people to understand how it all works. And I just enjoy the environment of it all, and everyone's working together, and there's 4 or 5 different jobs and everything matters just as equally. And it's a lot of fun to like watch it all come together and be the one putting it together.
And so you can take this class multiple times, right? How does that help you, to learn and to develop your skills?
Yeah, so like I said, the first time I did it, I just started with like the basic ones in there. That was the easiest to do. And then I got more comfortable not only with like each of the different steps in the class, but also my professor and the other students taking it. And I was able to grow comfortable and just like be able to speak up and be like, hey, I want to try a new thing, and learn all the different aspects of it, which was a lot of fun.
So describe for us a little bit more about the class itself. You talked about these different roles and how people work collaboratively together. What are the different roles, and what do people learn from those?
So there's running the teleprompter, which is like controlling the script and keeping up with the pace that the anchors are talking. And then there's the audio board, which is turning on mics, running the music for the DDRs and the videos, the like closing and the intro. Then there's the technical director board, which has all of the buttons, and it switches from camera to camera, and it plays all the videos and the bytes and so many different terms for that. And then there's the director, who's telling the technical director which buttons to press. Then there's the producer, who sets everything up on the computer so that when the director says to pull a CG, it's the right CG that's coming up, and everything's in order.
Is that computer graphic?
Yes, that's what I avoid. That's the only thing I haven't done. And then in here we have the floor directors, who are translating over what the director is saying in there, so they can hear him and tell us what to say, and like which camera we're going to be going on and when to go and when to read. And they kind of just translate everything over, and I think that's most of them. And then there's the talent, who's out here and actually behind it. Yeah.
And Professor Wakefield is leading the class, but it's all students who are doing all of the jobs that you just mentioned.
Yes, yeah.
Tell us so viewers know, because they're not able to see behind the scenes, how many people are working on this show?
Specifically on Sentinel Sources. Boy, so me and Casey are producing it and directing it. I know Giulio DeSesto does a lot with it.
He's a professor here.
Yeah, he's
and chairman of the department.
He's setting it all up. Yep. And then Mike Wakefield's obviously like the head of this class. And then all the students that are taking the production class are, I think they switch on and off with the jobs. So it's probably a good group of 10 that are learning how to produce the entire show.
We so appreciate all the help.
Yeah,
Yes.
It's a lot of fun for everyone.
So tell us a little bit more about the different projects you've been involved with in the past.
So I've done a lot with the sports section here. So I worked a lot of the games, and then we had an Inside Out Athletics show, which I've hosted a few times for, which turned into a Top Plays show, which I've also done. Then there's a KSC TV News show. I haven't been the host of that, but I've directed that. And then, yeah, it's a lot of just on-campus, like working sports games and stuff like that.
How do you see this specific show and your role within it as differing from this work that you've done in the past?
So we've never done a talk show like this, like an interviewing, and it's really cool because we usually just have, like, we'll have a desk out and it's like 2 co-anchors, and we have an entire script, and we go through the show and we play the videos and we show, like, the different events that went on during the week, and it's a 5-minute show and that's it. And like I said, like, there's no kind of freedom in what you're saying. It's just what you have on the script. And you can go off a little bit, but it's pretty much what's right in front of you. And it's nice having an actual interaction rather than staring at the camera and reading.
Well, what parts of your work as a director and producer like really interest you? What do you kind of really gravitate toward?
See, I enjoy so many different aspects of it. I do really enjoy standing up and like giving the cues and saying when to pull what. But at the same time, I like listening to it too and being the one to change all the like video clips. So it's, I don't know, I think every aspect of it is so different in its own way that a lot of them grab different interests, you know?
What's the single most challenging facet of your work as a producer?
Boy, so this show, so previous shows we've had a script and I'm able to mark it up beforehand and I know what cues I'm giving before they come, and I have my sentence that I say like this then. And this show I think is going to be a big challenge because it's more on the air and I'm kind of deciding on the spot when to switch the camera, and I haven't done that. So I'm excited to do it live, and I think that's going to be a big challenge.
And so this is going to be the first show that you've done kind of for the community. A lot of the other shows have been specifically for the Keene State community, and this is kind of for the greater Keene and Monadnock region community. What do you think this show is going to offer people sort of in that greater community?
Well, I think it's going to be really great to get the students involved with the local community. I think it's always kind of been separate, where there's the college community here and then there's the actual like families and everyday lives that are going on. And I kind of think other than showing up to sports games or if you have your kids going to college, there's not a lot of interaction. And I think this show is going to really pull the two together, which I'm excited to see happen.
What do you hope that this show accomplishes for yourself and for your fellow students?
So I'm just hoping to get a better experience out of it. Like I said, I've never directed on the fly before, so I'm excited to kind of progress my skills that I've already had and like challenge myself a little bit. Like we mentioned before, I've taken this course a dozen times, so it's nice to have a new step forward. And I think it's good for all the students in the class to have this new opportunity to work on the fly, sort of.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a different atmosphere having a live show versus a scripted show.
Yeah,
and we're very
exactly.
excited to have, you know, guests from the community coming in and being able to talk to them, and through what you all are sharing with us in your studio and your time and your expertise, being able to you know, show that product to the greater community and have a wonderful collaboration between us at the Sentinel and the Keene State video production class. It's very exciting.
Yeah, I've only ever worked, like if I do the interviewing or if I'm co-anchoring, I've only ever worked with other students. So it's exciting to bring the community into that.
Yes, well, we're very excited
we're
to
very
work
excited
with
as
you. Thank you so much for being with us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
And I'm Cecily Weisburgh, on behalf of myself and Anika Clark. Thank you so much for joining us on Sentinel Sources, and we'll see you next time.